everybody? Mike Stadler,
Carl Bethke,
back at you with the Obsession Podcast. Carl,
yes, sir, Mike.
how you doing?
I am pretty good. How are you?
I'm good.
You know, December here in Wisconsin.
I'm good other than that.
Well, I know.
Not hunting right now, so that kind of sucks. But
Back to work.
yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to bring this one up. It's kind of off some of the stuff we've done, but still, this is going to all tie into a lot of things we talk about and how we are.
How we think.
This could be a long one.
All right.
So, I think anybody that bow hunts out there knows about the Rompola Buck.
I would
Mitch
expect
Ronpola,
it. Yep.
Michigan hunter,
Yep.
shot the world record buck.
I agree.
You know, everybody says supposedly,
So, yeah.
which is where this
Goes.
problems come in.
Yep.
So, like we talked about this, all of a sudden we just started talking about it on our way out west.
Yeah.
Because we had both been watching things about this. It's kind of, I don't know if it's kind of resurfaced more all of a sudden, or
I'm not sure.
I think it might be bow hunting in general now, how it's come to be what it is.
A nightmare about who's got a bigger dick.
And
I'm just
100%.
saying. That's just how I think.
You know, and I've done a ton of research and watched a lot of stuff on this, and so has Carl. So, you know, we'll get into this first. So, Mitch Ronpola, huge bow hunter, lives in Michigan now. Shot this buck in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Missouri originally.
I believe, yeah.
So this all came down, and I'm sure everybody knows about this. If not, Google it.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see a million things on it.
Yep.
Shot a buck in '98. New world record.
Yep.
Potentially new world record.
Yep.
Scored 216 and 5/8 net.
Mm-hmm.
Typical.
Yep.
Gross 220 and 6/8.
Yep.
Which was bigger than the Milo Hansen buck. That was 213 and 5/8.
Which is still the current.
Which is still
record.
the world record. Yes. Typical. So this got called into question mainly for the one fact that he didn't want to put it in the book.
Pretty much. Yep. He had it scored by real scorers, guys that were scorers.
Yep. Three scorers.
Yep.
Scored the official scorers scored this buck.
Yep.
Lee Holbrook, Gary Berger, Al Brown.
Yep.
3 official scorers scored this buck.
Yep.
Handled this buck.
Yeah. Had it in their hand.
Had it in their hands. Scored this buck.
Yep. Because you have to handle it to score it.
Yes. They spent, and I'm reading this. This is from Holbrook, is one of the measurers.
Yes.
With statements he put out. Spent about 2.5 hours measuring this buck.
Yeah.
Very typical rack, he said, which you'd think would be easy, but they knew what they were handling.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Of course.
So the 3 of them working on this. Mitch, Ronpola, there the whole time.
Yep.
They never said a word to them. Sat back.
From what I understand of
do
Mitch, and I had never met the individual, never met the man, but he was a very quiet individual anyway, or
Yep.
still is a very quiet individual. He just doesn't spend a lot of time explaining things.
He goes on to say, because this, like I said, this is from Holbrook, one of the scores that I researched. Mitch recorded it the whole time.
Yep.
Them scoring the buck. Several different angles, just because he did actually film a little bit back in the day.
Yeah.
Which was back in that day was kind of a new thing.
My understanding is there's actual footage of this deer.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Never had any input. All 3 of them felt on top of the skull plate, around the skull plate, had it in their hands.
Yeah.
Every one of them said that the buck is real, the rack is real.
Yep.
Because that's one of the big things. If you don't know, they tried to say it was fabricated because of how the deer laid out. A deer can't grow that way, you know. Yeah. So,
hey, neither could Twin Towers, and I got video of him.
Yeah, I get it, you know. you know, they're all certified scores. Gave Mitch the score, like I said, 216 and 5 ace. They gave him the score. Mitch was also a scorer.
Yep.
For Michigan.
Yep.
For years. Scored it at 8th different. Because he said he had already had his score wrote down, he pulled it out, showed it to them guys.
Yep.
Because he wanted to see how close he'd be with it.
Right. Which you never score your own stuff.
No, you don't score your own.
That's what it is.
Own thing. So yeah, 216 and 5 ace. Mitch scored at 216 and 4 ace. They all knew what that meant.
Yeah.
That it was the new world record. At that point, they never discussed any more of what would happen with it because Mitch was like, all right, I got my score, it is what it is.
Yep.
So here in turn comes all of the crap.
Of course.
The bullshit.
Yeah.
Especially, and I'll say this, why we're even coming into this topic is because of the way Colin and I feel about scoring deer, for one thing. And what we'll get into is why I think a lot of people hunt.
Yep.
So a lot of things came out, and you're going to pull this up, and you're going to see a ton of people that say, you know, you can't grow a deer that size. We've never had, you know, deer
in this
like
location.
in this location.
Yep.
Blah blah blah. Which I have so much stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'll prove you wrong.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't want to put it in the book meant it was fake. So right there, I have a huge problem with it.
Yeah.
This is my opinion, and I know it's Carl's, he'll give you his too, but who the hell cares?
Yeah. I don't shoot deer
In a book.
to put it in a damn book. And you get your name in a book, and you're in a book, and here's your name, and then they want a bunch of information. So here's the deal with giving out information, especially nowadays. You know, the book is, you know, they want to know your county, and I'm not even sure, it's been so long since I've had to even remotely think about it, if it's a township thing or what the hell it is, you know, okay? If you know me and we talk about deer hunting, you know for a fact I can't stand, well, my deer scored 153 in an eighth or whatever. Well, hey, Kate, congratulations, great deer. You know, we've got a lot of deer on our walls, and each one of us has one deer that's been scored.
Correct.
Mike's was scored because
my buddy had just bought the land.
Yeah.
It was the first buck we took off it.
Yep.
He was amped.
Yep.
It's like, dude, we got to get that thing scored. I'm like, not really my thing. He's like, I'll pay for it. Because to me, that's what it turned into.
Right.
It was this much money for this.
Yep.
Then this much money for this.
Yep.
And then another fee to get the certificate.
Yep.
You know, which I have.
Yep.
He's hanging back here.
Yep.
I scored him.
Yep.
Great. Carl and I have probably 80 plus animals between us that aren't scored.
Yeah.
West game, whitetails,
Yeah. Everything.
bears,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Because that to us isn't the level of the trophy of the animal.
Yeah.
It's not why we hunt.
Yeah. I find it annoying that, well, here's the deal. If we're going to go and take deer out there and we're going to score them, and then immediately all you get is the criticism. Okay? Mm-hmm. Well, that's not why I hunt. I hunt for me. I don't hunt for everybody else to see what I've killed or whatever else. Here's the thing about Mitch, is Mitch shot a ton of bucks.
Yep.
That were all scored Pope and Young, and we're talking upper level in Michigan, upper level in, I think, Missouri.
When he was 13, Carl,
yeah,
he shot a buck in Missouri, 16-point non-typical, 208 and 6 ace. Not in the book.
Not in the book.
Okay.
That's 8 inches different than the buck he shot in Michigan.
When he's 13.
13.
It was a little bull.
Yeah.
In 1985, which a lot of people do know about this one, he shot that 12-pointer.
Yeah.
It was the Michigan record.
Yep.
181 and 7 ace.
Yeah.
It was in the Michigan book.
Yep.
Not in Pope and Young Boone and Crockett.
Right. Yeah.
You know, see, this guy's...
It's not like Mitch isn't, all of a sudden he's not shooting big deer, and then he shoots the world record.
And the funny thing is for years leading up to the one they call the Rompola Buck,
yeah,
he was in a lot of books,
yeah,
considered to be one of the best whitetail archery hunters in the world.
If you guys don't understand, and you got to look like what Mike's going to talk about, the one thing I'm going to throw out there is back then I was pretty young and I was learning stuff, so I read all the magazines, the Deer Hunting, North American Whitetail, all this crap.
Me too.
And the one thing I know about Mitch, the thing I remember distinctly about Mitch, was he had this suit he made himself that he would wear. And it was basically a rubber suit.
Yep.
And he would duct tape himself into that suit. So, and we're talking a rubber suit, you guys. We're talking, it's
the original scent-free.
Yeah, the original scent-free deal. And I thought, there's no way I'm doing that. I'm not going up.
Yeah. And he repeatedly killed big deer.
Oh, yeah.
Repeatedly killed big deer.
Spent his entire summers and everything scouting these animals and all this stuff. Had intel, before intel was cool, on all these animals he was killing. It's not like he just walked into the woods, this deer walked by and shot it.
Yep.
You know? I mean, come on. And then the thing that bothers me the most is you see the TV people. You know, even now. And guys I have some respect for talking down about this because in their opinion, it's not real because they couldn't inspect it. Well, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
You didn't shoot it.
Right.
It's not your animal.
And, you know, the thing, like you're saying when you were reading all the magazines and the books, you know, I did too. I was kind of getting really big into it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know that. And like, I have the picture. I still have it. It's in my toolbox in my garage of him holding this buck. I had it forever. I looked at this thing like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Shoot that deer. You know? And he was considered one of the best whitetail hunters in the world.
Yeah. At
Books.
time.
They're writing books about him. So then he goes out and kills
the new world
record.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, this is all made up.
Yeah.
because
he didn't want to put it in a book.
Doesn't put it in a book.
Well, think about how much crap he had to get. So they do this, and all of a sudden he's got 3 scorers that are saying, yeah, this is new world record, Mitch has everything, you know, whatever else. And of course, immediately the same crap starts. And it's no different than any other the recent world records that have been shot.
Yep.
You know, that guy, Beatty, when Beatty shot his non-typical, the smartest thing he ever did was he called the DNR immediately, never even moved the deer. Had the warden come out and all that. Because if he did, guess what?
Yeah.
People are going to say, it's poached,
he poached
it's from such and such, you know, he shot this at night, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because for some reason in our society, I gotta watch what I say here.
Yeah.
Some reason in our society, we can't be happy for others anymore when it comes to deer hunting.
Yeah.
And not everybody's like that, but you have the haters.
And it's a jealousy thing.
Yeah.
100% in our opinion.
Yes.
Which is why we're getting into this story in the first place. We both would love to meet this guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because
I just want to sit down and talk to him. I don't want to talk deer hunting.
This guy was doing it when we're all crapping in our diapers.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking that we're great hunters.
Yeah.
This guy's putting big buck after big buck on the ground. And not just big bucks.
Yeah. With equipment we don't have,
with,
or intel.
With inferior equipment at the time.
Yeah.
You know, in the 90s. What were we shooting in the 90s?
Dude, I had a Pearson Striker and a fat. It was their speedboat.
Compared to what we have now.
And it wasn't even like,
you know,
maybe 200 feet per second.
You know,
yeah, I know.
And the clothing system now that everybody dies by.
Oh, yeah.
Which we wear.
Oh, yeah.
Scent lock, scent block, okay?
Yeah.
His clothing, he was already doing it.
Oh, yeah. And
he was doing it already.
Self-made deal.
Yeah. He was already doing it. Who cares what it looked like? He was doing it.
Yeah, it could have even been it could have been and I'm not sure from what I remember pictures of.
I've seen pictures of
but
it.
I almost think it was a chem warfare suit, so a military chem warfare suit.
It is what it looked like.
And then
minus
rubber
the
boots.
mask.
Yeah, minus the mask, and then it had the hood and everything though.
Yeah.
And duct tape, and you couldn't even. From one of the pictures, I swear, I know it was Mitch, but you can't really tell it's Mitch.
Yeah.
Because he had it on and he took the picture. It was yeah, that was way ahead of the game.
And the jealousy crap, all this stuff I've looked, there was a 20-minute video of the recovery of this buck.
Yep.
From tree stand to the buck laying there on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, video walking all the way around
of
the buck,
all
on
angles.
the ground.
All angles.
Yep.
This buck, like they try to say, oh, well, nobody's seen it, nobody. heard about it. Okay, let me get into this. So, first of all, the people that were close to him,
Yep.
and one landowner was an older gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
I have his name here somewhere, but I forget. But anyway, I could get it. Seen this buck.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty distinct animal.
Yeah.
If you see it. It's 30 plus inches wide inside, if you don't know. I have the measurements of it. We'll get into it later.
Yeah.
Seen this buck. Mitch knew about this buck.
Yeah.
Mitch hunted this buck for 3 years.
Yeah, before he killed it.
Before he killed it. So he was hunting when it wasn't even as big as it was.
Right.
So 3 years he hunted it, missed it the first time, ended up shooting it 10 days later.
Mm-hmm.
There is trail cam pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know, our trail cams obviously back then were crappy.
Yeah.
So, and you remember, I mean, we had film.
Yeah, there was film
cameras.
inside of it, yeah.
So people want to look at, well, those pictures are grainy. It was 1990s.
Yeah.
It wasn't 2023.
Yeah, there's not digital cameras back then.
So yeah, the
at least
pictures
readily there.
aren't going to look the greatest,
No.
you know. When he shot this deer. Also, a conservation officer, Bill Bailey's his name, saw this buck when it was recovered and brought out in the back of his truck. Saw the deer, inspected the deer,
Yeah.
and he said he was a conservation officer.
Yeah.
And he mainly handles all the tribal lands
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
Along with everybody else that was there when this thing came rolling in. You ain't covering this thing up in your truck.
No. No, that's not gonna happen.
You know, it's laying in the back of an old Chevy pickup truck
Yeah.
with him standing there. You know, when he had it, after it was scored with 3 official scores, started to have it mounted. The deer was partially mounted, and the skull, the whole top of the skull plate was left open, not sewed shut, so as to still be inspected.
Yep.
Before the mount was finished.
Yeah.
And that's proof, true.
Yeah.
Now here comes the thing where people want to say, well, because there was a guy, and I know where this came from because I looked, that wanted it x-rayed. And this is after Ronpola said, I'm not putting it in the book.
Yeah.
So
but these people are pissed off because he won't put it in the book because they feel it deserves the respect of the book.
So
Who gives a shit about it?
right, the guy's name, Craig Calderon or Calderon.
Yeah.
Not sure which it is. From Jackson, Michigan. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this Craig shot a buck in 1986.
Okay.
The year after Ronpola shot the current Michigan state record. Okay.
The 181 or
The
whatever.
181 and 70. So the next year, Craig Calderon, Jackson, Michigan, shoots a buck. 193 and 2/8 scores.
New number one.
New number one.
Congratulations.
Yep, congratulations. Cool, it's in a book.
Yep.
Anyway, comes out later.
Yep.
He was ticketed and it was removed because he was spotlighting the deer.
Imagine that.
Weird.
Done
So-
by the Michigan DNR.
Correct.
So
At
he
this
did
time,
do it and was
yes.
prosecuted for it.
Prosecuted, the deer was removed
Yeah.
from the,
No number one.
obviously, Mitch
Mitch
just went
did
back.
Yep.
Mitch was part of the CBM scoring,
Yep.
which was a panel that was a part of this investigation.
Yep.
Mitch removed himself from the panel
Which he should, yeah.
because his deer was already the
Number
number one deer, so he had nothing to do with it, wanted nothing to do with it, removed himself from the panel. Fact. Anyway,
Yeah.
when the big Rompola Buck was shot, the new world record, this Calderon, pissed off,
Yep.
put up the first $10,000, wanted it x-rayed.
Imagine that.
Wanted it right to Mitch, I'll give you $10,000, I want x-ray it. He's the first one that started calling the deer fake.
Yep. And
He had an
because-
axe to grind with him,
Yep.
which he had nothing to do with.
Right.
Which.
So let me get this straight. So the guy that did something illegal,
Yes.
apparently has money,
Yep.
posted $10,000 to challenge Mitch. He's going to give him 10 grand
Yep.
to have an X-ray.
Correct.
That Mitch has already said he's not even putting it in the book.
Yep.
So the only thing that really would have happened if anything happens, Mitch would have had the number 1 and number 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Mitch chose not to put it in.
He didn't want to do it.
Chose it also not to be a world record.
Yes, that's the next thing I got there.
Because he talked to Milo.
Yeah, this was the Keldrone that started that because he was mad because his buck was removed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, and Ronpola removed himself from that committee.
That started to get hot, like.
Yeah. So, which he should have, and he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which goes to Milo Hansen.
Yeah.
Current, still
world record.
World record, typical buck.
Yep.
So, this came out that this was going to be a new world record.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you know or don't know, Milo Hansen buck makes a lot of money for him.
It does.
That buck travels around to shows, whatever else he gets out of it, I don't know. I don't know the specifics of that at all.
Right.
But I know it's lucrative for him.
I'm sure, yeah.
He has a legal team that signs a legal agreement, comes to Ronpola with it,
Yep.
that Mitch will not enter it as a world record.
Yep.
Mitch signs it, I don't care. Signs it. Okay, I won't. So then everybody's like, oh, it's got to be fake.
Well, yeah. That makes zero sense.
Why does it got to be fake, Carl?
It's not fake. Dude, see, this is where we get all cranked up.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Mitch, staying on Mitch's deal there, the man already said he doesn't want it as a state record. Mm-hmm. He's not going to score it. He just signs a paper that says, I'm not even going to try and have it scored for a world record because I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay? It sounds to me like Mitch is just, I don't want to deal with the drama. You know?
Yep.
And I honestly think, without meeting him, but just from all the information that we've gathered, all the information that I've seen, stuff I've read, he was one of the stand-up guys that's never been into deer hunting for money.
Yep.
Which we have a real issue with nowadays. Where everybody thinks, I'm going to shoot a 200-inch deer and I'm going to make this much money. We know a guy in particular shot a 200-inch deer last year.
Mm-hmm.
And is sponsored by a big bow company and got all over that particular company because they posted pictures, which he has to send to them, which is in the contract that they can utilize any of the pictures of the animals that you take for a promotion.
Yep.
And challenges the company that gives him bows.
Yep.
That's frickin' stupid.
Yep.
You're an idiot. It's a 200-inch deer. Who the F cares?
Awesome, but I mean...
Yeah, congratulations. Don't get me wrong.
And
I like that guy.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know him also. Great respect for him, but...
Like we said at the beginning, like, this isn't normally topics we do, but we are going to do it because this kind of comes back to everything we say. So, wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I haven't killed a deer on this wall because I give a shit about what anybody else thinks. You know who I care what he thinks? The guy that sits next to me. We hunt together.
That's right. Who works
I don't put my deer in the book. No. And people that tell me that I don't give them respect don't know me.
No.
They don't know Carl. Because that is my respect.
Yeah.
They're on my wall. People ask me, how many of your deer are you going to mount? Every frickin' one of them.
Yeah. Every buck I shoot gets mounted for
That's my respect for them.
That's right.
A piece of paper doesn't make you a better hunter.
No.
It doesn't make you somebody. This industry is failing in that aspect.
Yeah.
And people are believing it left and right. And I'll say that, I don't care. We're not looking to get rich off this.
No.
You know, we love to do it. Love to do it. There's nothing we'd rather do. And we want people to be better at it.
Yep.
And stuff like this, if you really take your time and research it. Like, I'm not even done yet.
No, I got it.
And this is, if you look at it, just back yourself away and look at it as a whole, you're like, wow. That's effed up.
Yeah, that man has more integrity in his pinky than the majority of people hunting nowadays. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I mean, we get it all the time.
I like it.
We'll say crap. We'll be, for instance, and I'm not going to say where we go because I love the club, but I've multiple times been challenged about stuff bucks that we've shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, why don't you put that in the book? You need to do that for respect. No, I don't need to do that for respect. No. I respect the game that I hunt. Multiple reasons.
Yeah.
But if you have to feel like you have to be
Vindicated
is a great word for it.
Look at me. Look at me, Carl.
Yeah, you can put your name in that book 70 times. It's your name's that freaking big. Nobody gives an F.
No, it don't matter.
Don't care.
They don't.
Congratulations for what you've accomplished, shooting nice deer. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Boone and Crockett is notorious for it. I've watched scorers. Well, in particular, we were doing a show. Mm-hmm. This one really drives me nuts. We were doing a show in Madison.
Yeah.
My friend here has one of his deer there. Didn't that scorer come out? He said something stupid. Mm-hmm. Something like, why even have that scored or some shit?
Yeah. So, well, and you should have let that deer go. And
oh, yeah.
Just think of what he could have been in another year.
Yeah,
or 2
his
years.
opinions on that.
Had the genetics.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah.
Pouring out.
Dude, you're a scorer.
You know.
I mean, congratulations on being able to add up a frickin' tape.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
And if you look, and I know you see this every day, look on social media.
Oh, yeah.
And animals that are on there, what do you think it scores?
Dude, there's pages.
God, who cares?
There's pages.
I know.
Groups. Score this deer.
Right.
What's my deer score? Or whatever else.
And again, this is our opinion, but this is what's wrong.
Yeah.
With hunting, not just archery hunting in general, because it's a preconceived notion of you're trying to be better than somebody else. This is a guy who don't care about you at all.
No,
you don't care what you think of him.
He wants to be left alone.
We don't care what you think of us.
No,
we don't.
Honestly,
and then the discounting of the deer and more people. And we watched this one not too long ago. This guy saying how in Michigan these deer can't grow this way. They can't grow this big. What are you, God?
Yeah.
Anybody that's out there at whitetail hunts knows that every rack is different.
What drives me nuts even more so than, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that guy's an idiot.
No, he's not. That's the problem.
That's the problem I'm having with it. Is that Mitch actually shot 1 or 2 more bucks framed identical to this deer.
Yep.
The next 2 years, I believe.
And if you go on, it's a Ronpola fan club site. He has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, somebody
other people started it. There is deer after deer after deer on there from Michigan.
Yeah.
That are laid out identical.
Yeah.
Out the side of that skull as this deer.
Dude,
they're everywhere.
I've got pictures here in Wisconsin of deer like that. I mean, I could show the picture of Twin Towers.
I know.
Tell me that deer's not framed like Mitch's deer.
And
I cranked up. Can't even speak
this thing. So, like, I did just a little bit of research on this. So, in this county here where Mitch shot this deer, okay. So this guy says there's no big deer that have ever come out of this county that size. So there's 4 of them that are documented. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is documented.
Yeah.
Which we know that's big deal. There's probably 30 more that aren't.
Probably.
So, a 12-pointer Jim Thompson shot back in the day, 174 and 6/8 inches. Mm-hmm. Pretty big deer.
Pretty big deer.
That Craig Calderon that I said, 193 and 2/8 giant. Ronpola's 181 and 7/8.
Yeah.
Tim Bannon, 182 and 4/8.
Yeah.
Not to mention the Rompola 216 potential world record.
Yeah.
All right there.
Yeah.
From that county.
Well, I'm pretty sure the picture I seen of the one he shot the following year was the same frame.
It was framed the same.
Frame,
yeah,
but an 8-pointer.
Yep. Exact same.
So he's 160 some inch, 170 some inch, 8-point.
100%.
And I guarantee Mitch did put that one in the book.
No. Along with the rest of them.
Yeah, I know.
And so here's some deer that people, and then people say, this is another thing that kills me. Well, nobody's ever seen this deer. Do you know how many? I have 3 examples.
The owner of CSS Bows seen that deer.
Yeah.
Because at the time,
he was trying to get the contract with him also after.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they also
because
seen
Mitch
the
was
deer.
Mitch was shooting his bow at
Yeah.
the time.
And he didn't want anything to do with it. He said,
Yeah.
"No, I'm good."
Yeah,
He
and
just
he
wasn't-
let him hold it. He had it. In his
Yeah, he
hand.
had it.
Yeah. So
So, 3 of the biggest deer that have ever walked the face of the earth have never been seen. Or even found. Sheds were found by most of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, the general
Yep.
from Nebraska, again, Google it,
Yep.
222 and 3/8 typical,
Yep.
32-inch main beams.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
walked the face of the earth, never seen it.
Yep.
Found it.
Yep.
The Iowa knife handle buck,
Yep.
they say is probably the biggest typical ever.
Yep.
Scored in the 240s,
As a
gross,
typical. Wow.
with a 230. They said generous deductions to 230. You know,
Yeah.
how many of you have ever seen that buck? He ain't walking around.
No.
He ain't in my 40.
No. 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 If he was still there, we'd be out there right now.
You know,
Yeah.
the Kansas King,
Yeah.
one side of his antler, 98 and 4/8,
Mm-hmm.
because the other side was broke, had some broke tines on it. They figured modest 217 typical.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen these bucks. They're there,
Oh yeah. Well,
you know.
I mean, you could even go to non-typical stuff where you could go to hole and horn buck.
Yep.
I mean, he got hit by a train.
Yeah, found them on train tracks.
Yeah.
Never seen that deer.
Yeah.
These deer aren't walking around holding signs up, Carl.
No
Are
way. No.
Because God would help us.
Yeah.
You know, but just, you know, look some of these things up and people want to bash. Like, these are some of the biggest bucks that might have ever walked the face of the earth. They were never seen by human eye.
Nope.
If they were young.
Yeah.
And then they got smart real quick.
Well, the misconception nowadays is everybody thinks that every deer in the world is going to be on a damn trail camera.
Yep.
Well, great. You know, I'm not disagreeing with, there's probably a picture somewhere of certain deer. But a lot of this information is before there were big trail cameras like that. The other part about that is if anybody's ever hunting one of these deer, guess what? We don't talk about it.
Nope.
Because I'm not going to even once send out a picture on the Facebook machine of a deer that I think is typically a 200-inch deer or 180 or 170, 160. Doesn't matter. Because what happens nowadays, because of the jealousy that we have nowadays in the industry, people will pay high dollars. There's a fine example. One of our guys that works with us, Sean Devitt, probably shouldn't, well, I'm just going to say it. I mean, he had been watching this 8-pointer for 3 years. Here, his neighbor who's got a little three-acre piece. Sean actually has a contract to buy the land next to his place. Doesn't have the opportunity to purchase it yet. And the neighbor goes and spends $2,500 to walk up there during gun season. Walks up there because Sean shared all this information with him and shoots this deer. Ta-da!
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way things work nowadays. The money involved again.
Yeah, it is. And
And the jealousy.
this is the whole thing. Like what Carl's just talking about right there. Why we're talking about this, the Ronpola Buck.
Yeah.
Huge topic. And we've watched some podcasts on it. I watched the Joe Rogan podcast on it, which had Steve Rennell on it.
Or Steve, yeah.
I like Steve Rennell.
I do too.
But I'm going to tell you what. Not a lot of the facts that I've seen about this deer. And still a lot of these people, I think they want to discredit it just because it's not in a book.
Yeah.
And it just, who cares?
The Pope and Young program and the Boone and Crockett program to me is a complete and utter joke. It's a human way of trying to create competition. The only people winning from this is the Pope and Young group and the Boone and Crockett group. Okay? I'm not saying that I think all of that is complete and utter BS, but I think if you're going to just quest or make a quest to try and shoot a high scoring animal constantly, like trying to get to be a world record, but you're the type of guy who's actually going to talk about somebody else's stuff without knowing all the facts, just because a man chooses not to to put it in your book doesn't mean you criticize it. That
Yeah.
tells me you're a rotten human being. I guess that's the way I look at it.
I've had
I boycott it for that reason alone.
I've had people that I've known most of my life
Yeah.
that really have never really been a lot into my house or whatever. We hang out outside or whatever, but that have come in and been, wow, I didn't know that you had that many deer. Because I'm not going to advertise it.
No.
It's not I go back, I don't care what other people think, because I know of those people, I know 15 more people that are like, well, I'm not going to shoot that
Yeah.
because I want it 150 or bigger. Cool. Me too.
Yeah.
But it's not realistic.
No.
And
not in certain places.
when I see an animal that I want to take, I take it.
Yes.
And whether it's 130, 125, 160, great. I don't care.
As hunters, we should try to be a little more supportive of each other, and not make it into some sort of game where the higher scoring is.
Yep.
I've seen deer. We shot deer. I mean, I have a deer that I think is, well, they aged him at 8 years old, and his score is what, 78. That one with the big fork and whatever. But I mean, biggest body deer I ever shot, dressed out, 247 pounds. Absolute giant. One of my biggest trophies, not gonna lie. Respect for that animal.
Yep. And and I'm not saying that we won't look at a deer and be like, yeah, I think it'd be like 160, 160 inches. But it's not why we're going to go after them.
No. And I'm not putting them in the books if I do shoot.
And it doesn't matter. Like, we looked at pictures this year of bucks on his property, bucks on my property. We thought, oh, this one might hit 150s, this one might go 160s. But at the end of the day, if that animal hits the ground, it's not like, oh, I got to quick put him in there. It's not going to happen on our end. It's just not. And, I think the biggest thing to me about Mitch and his buck was that there's a guy that had figured out stuff that a lot of us have never figured out or might not ever figure out, and we ruined it.
Yeah.
By ever getting any of that knowledge.
Yeah, we have no opportunity.
Why the hell would he give it out to anybody now?
Mitch has shut it. In general, Mitch shut himself down from the general public. I'm sure he has friends and stuff that he communicates with and all of that, but
So
I would love to have an opportunity just to talk to him about deer hunting.
Yeah.
We don't talk about deer, his buck, none of that crap. Yeah, I want to know some of the information he does and what he learned to be successful.
Because I think he's smart.
I think he's really smart.
And there's going to be people out there that are going to maybe listen to this and be like, "Ooh, whatever, I'm this or that." You're not.
No.
We're not. No. And knowledge that you can absorb from guys like this, guys like us, guys from people that's how you get to be good. And when you put it into this form of this competition and this bashing of these deer. Now, and it's bad enough people bash smaller frame deer.
Yeah.
You're bashing the world record deer.
Yeah.
And I'll say it's the world record deer.
Yeah.
I've seen the score sheet. The score sheet is out there. You can see it.
Yeah.
Certified score sheet. So what? You don't want to put it in a book.
Yeah.
It's the world record.
Yep.
Sorry, Milo. It is.
Yeah. No doubt in my mind.
But he don't care.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Like, I know a guy from here. We've talked about him.
Yeah.
Shot a giant buck. I don't even know. 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Who cares? I don't know. And said a few things to me one night, like he walked on water.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I reiterated the whole story of the buck that he killed because I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm like, so don't come to me like you're some god.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
yep.
Like we say.
Yep.
But that doesn't make you great.
No.
This doesn't make me great. It doesn't make Carl great.
No.
But we don't ever portray that. So, like, I'll tell you this, he'll never be forgotten.
No.
And he never said a word.
Yeah. Well, he should never be forgotten, and he shouldn't be forgotten for the reason that people are going to try to remember it from. He should be remembered for the respect he gave the game, the animal that he hunted. That's what he should be remembered for. And I'm hoping someday I mean, I've heard that went away in a fire, and I've heard all kinds of things. I'm hoping someday that Mitch actually put that rack somewhere.
Well, that was another reason why they tried to say it was fake.
Of course.
And I will guarantee you this, and I've seen a few things where some guys have kind of tipped their hat a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, the buck's safe.
Yeah, I hope it is.
It's out there somewhere,
Yep.
and just think of it this way, he can't have it in his house.
No.
People know where he lives. He's lived in the same place forever there in Michigan.
Yeah.
You can't have it there.
No.
It's somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, maybe someday it will come out, and maybe it will get entered, you know.
Yeah.
But
whether it gets entered or not, I hope it comes out, and they can do the test, and then everybody can see it. Because let's just say, if Mitch doesn't sign any paperwork to say he's going to score it as a new world record, it'll never be the world record.
No.
Even if it's a legitimate frame and everything is done and all of that. It'd be just like the other bucks you talked about.
Yeah.
It'd be like a roadkill. Mitch has to sign to enter it. And if he doesn't want to,
he ain't gonna do it. Don't matter.
Yeah. And I would love to see that. That really would.
Yeah.
That would be the greatest thing in the world.
And the last thing he really has said about it is maybe someday it will, maybe someday it won't. That's it.
More power to him.
Yeah. You know, so to really sum a lot of this up, look at why you're hunting.
Yeah.
Because this is a lot of what we talk about, and we're adamant about it. You know, and the wrong reasons, shaming one way or the other, thinking you're better than somebody else. Ain't none of us any better than anyone. Now I tell you what, I don't care who you are out there. I don't care how much money you got or how much money you don't have. Guess what? They'll throw the same dirt on top of you.
Oh, yeah.
And they put you in the ground.
Yeah.
And that's fact.
Yeah.
That's fact.
That's fact.
This is America.
Nobody comes on live.
Nobody coming on alive, man. You know, so make your mark here. Do it for the right reason.
100%.
You know, and this kind of stuff, like, it ain't going to go away.
No.
It's not, you know, but we're going to put out there what we think about it. And, you know,
Like it or don't.
research. Yeah. Don't like it. You know, the problem is, it's all facts.
Yeah.
So, if you don't like facts, don't listen.
I got a lot to say about that.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
You know, I mean, that pretty much covers what we think.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the greatest hunters and one of the greatest guys with a lot of knowledge and information that would help every hunter nowadays even has been silenced because of a stupid bullshit state.
But hopefully, I mean, if nothing else from this, it makes you think about it a little bit. Think about what you see on social media. Think about what you say to somebody that shoots a buck.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to score, you're great. But do it for the right reason.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You know, so
we appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for listening to The Obsession. If you get a chance, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel right here in the lower left or right-hand corner. If you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple,
Amazon,
iHeart.
RSS.com.
Also, check out our pretty faces right here on YouTube.
Yeah, buddy.
Check us out on Instagram at Rush Outdoors Wisconsin. Also, The Obsession Podcast Hunting. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Later.